So we've all heard about the 10,000 hour rule. It's the idea that you need 10,000 hours of deliberate practice to become an expert. But the truth is that this rule was never intended for people who are getting started in a field. What we're looking for is not the elite performance of a 10,000 hour practitioner. We're looking for functional competence. What you really should look into instead of the 10,000 hours concept is the first 20 hours concept by Kaufman. He says that you only need 20 hours of deliberate practice to get good enough at any skill and start applying it in your real life. As Kaufman puts it, you don't need to be an expert to get started. You just need to know enough to start learning as you go. So you don't need thousands of hours of study to land clients as a copywriter. You just need the basics. You need the courage to pitch, and mastery will come with time and experience. But you're never going to get that experience unless you start. Now, where most copywriting courses are just going to focus on 100% skills, what my training is going to allow you to do is to teach you about writing in the context of what clients are looking for. In other words, you're going to learn as much as you possibly need to know in order to persuade a client to work with you and give you a chance. When you get assigned the work, when you win the business, then you can dive deeper into the mechanics of writing and actually how to deliver that to the best of your ability. That's how you become an expert in the long term. I know it sounds counterintuitive because you want to feel 100% prepared and you want to feel like you're an expert in order to start becoming a freelance writer and pitching clients, but it's actually through the act of working for clients that you will become an experienced copywriter. Here is the thing, businesses are not just looking for a writer. They need writing that speaks directly to their customers, that solves problems, that drives action. Once you understand that copywriting isn't just about writing pretty sentences, it's about helping businesses communicate effectively, your approach to learning will shift. So what do businesses actually need from a copywriter? Here is a simplified breakdown. They need clarity, right? They need their message to be clear and easy to understand. Whether it's a product description, blog post, your writing is supposed to make complex ideas simple. The more simply we speak, the better. This is different from academic writing. Maybe if you're an English major like me, where we were rewarded for using big words, that doesn't apply. We actually want to be writing most web content at a 7th grade level. The writing also has to connect with customers. So your writing creates this connection between a business and its customers, which means that you first have to understand what the audience cares about and address those concerns in your writing. And at the end of the day, everything that you're writing, even if it's content, not copy, which will explain the difference between those two, but the goal is to have the customer take action. So whether that is click this button to download, whether this is give me your credit card number, it's an action-oriented piece, and it should always end by calling the customer to an action. So a lot of the writing I do is for tech startups, and they have great products that work, but the problem with a lot of tech startups is that they don't know how to communicate what their product will do for a simple average person. So me as the writer, I come in and I kind of translate these technical features into what the average person will care about, right? If you're calling an Uber and you're looking for a ride, you don't care about the API integration within the Uber app. What you care about is how quickly the driver can get to you and how accurate the map is when it tells you how close the car is. That's the difference between a feature and a benefit, which we'll go into a little bit more later. So here's an action step. Choose a business or brand you'd like to work for. If you can't think of anything yet, just Google a local business in your town. Spend some time on their website, reading their blog, looking at their content, and ask yourself as you're reading, is this message clear? Do I feel connected with what they're saying? Is there a clear action that they want me to take? Well, I Googled a steakhouse in my area, and here are my observations. Number one, the first thing that popped up was them asking me to enter in my email, which means they're going to try to get in touch with me after I leave this website. Join our newsletter is not a great call to action, so that's the first thing I would change. Something more captivating could be hear about all of our latest specials and receive weekly discounts to your inbox. No one wants to join a newsletter. What we do want as restaurant patrons is discounts, right? So after that, this place is called Michael John's French American Steakhouse. Now, I'm not a steakhouse or restaurant writer or expert, but what I can do is go to a really successful steakhouse like Ruth's Chris and see how they structure their website. And then that will allow me to make some observations about this local chain steakhouse. This is a very visual website. The text is broken up instead of the large large swaths of writing. It's very visual. There's a lot of calls to action. Do this exercise and see what observations you can make about how this business can improve their writing to connect with someone like you. Take a little section and just focus on making it more clear, more connected to the audience, guiding the reader towards taking action. And by completing these steps, you're going to start to think like a copywriter. You're not just reading content, you're going to actually analyze and figure out how to make it better. Remember, you're on a mission. Your goal isn't to become a master top copywriter overnight. It's not realistic and it's not even necessary. Instead, challenge yourself to learn just enough to sound knowledgeable to potential clients. This is where copywriters get really stuck. They try to dive way too deep and learn concepts that, quite honestly, are not going to even stick in your head unless you do them for actual clients and get real world experience. You can take all of the copywriting courses and read all of the books and still not do a great job for the client just because you have head knowledge. You need to start getting out there and completing real life work for clients in order to get good. You learn the basics now and then the rest comes later, 1 hour at a time. Even just doing that little copywriting exercise that I told you to do earlier might have gotten you in a frenzy of like, wow, I don't know what I'm doing. How am I going to do this? This is why we need to stay focused, and that's why this training is going to be so valuable, is because this training is going to change your mindset to realize that revenue is the lifeblood of any business, and that is so true for service-based businesses like us, freelance copywriters, because unlike traditional jobs where you're going to get paid just for showing up, freelancing means that you only make money when you have clients paying you for your services. And what we're going to do in this training is learn how to get paid while we learn. How you get paid while learning is to, number one, start with simple projects. You choose a few deliverables that are straightforward, that are easy to complete, like blog posts, product descriptions, social media posts. These projects are going to give you a foundation to build on while also allowing you to earn an income. I would say more complex assignments would be website copywriting, maybe email copywriting, sales page copywriting, ad writing. Anytime that you're writing something that is content-based versus conversion copywriting-based, there's going to be a smaller learning curve and clients willing to take a risk on someone who's new. When you're pitching clients, focus on the problems that you can solve and not your level of expertise. Let them know that you are eager to learn and that you will do whatever it takes to get the job done right. This builds trust and shows that you are committed to their success. And as you go, ask your clients for feedback and for mentorship. When they see that you're really committed to growth and learning, they're more likely to work with you and invest in you. The more they invest in you in terms of time and mentorship, the likelier that they will stay with you. Now, for the next exercise, I want you to write a 2 to 3 sentence statement about your commitment to taking action. This is going to be your personal reminder to focus on pitching and building your business and learning only what's necessary to get started. So you could say something like, I'm committed to taking action by pitching clients and building my business. I'm going to balance learning with real world practice, ensuring that I grow while getting paid. And I'll also avoid overconsumption of content and focus on applying what I learn. Next, you're going to choose the copywriting deliverables that you are going to focus on. What 2 deliverables are you going to dive deeper into? Is it blog writing? Is it emails? Is it ads? These will be the core services that you'll lead with, that you'll get these doors to open to when you're first starting out. List your 2 deliverables out and focus on learning just enough about those 2 deliverables so that you can just get out there and start pitching. I also want you to write a plan down for how you are going to learn alongside your business generating activities. So make a plan for how you'll learn, when you'll learn, and ensuring that it has a deadline. Commit to spending more time on pitching and working on projects than on learning. So for example, it could be, I will spend 2 hours each week learning about copywriting through video training and blog posts and books, but I will dedicate at least 10 hours to pitching clients and working on my business. A really helpful statement you could write here is, my deadline for mastering blog writing is 2 months from now, and I'm going to apply what I learned by pitching 10 blog post writing clients per week. Create a plan to continue learning new copywriting principles without letting it take over your business activities. I am 5 years into this and I'm still reading copywriting and marketing books. This is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You are never going to know enough, so you might as well create the habit of incrementally learning now, because it's going to continue to be like this. You're going to continue to have to learn alongside your business and actually delivering the work. So an example of a statement you could write here is, I will set aside 1 hour each week for ongoing learning. After I've started landing clients, I'm going to focus on learning new skills one at a time, and will only move on to the next principle once I've applied the previous one in the real world. And I want you to commit to this, okay? I want you to write your signature and promise to yourself that you are going to follow through. Keep this somewhere where you can see it, where you can revisit it, and keep yourself accountable. By filling out this worksheet and doing this exercise, you're making a clear plan to move from learning into doing, okay? You're balancing skill development with action, and you're keeping your business growing while continue to learn. Remember, you're on a mission. Your goal isn't to become a master top copywriter overnight. It's not realistic, and it's not even necessary. Instead, challenge yourself to learn just enough to sound knowledgeable to potential clients. This is where copywriters get really stuck. They try to dive way too deep and learn concepts that, quite honestly, are not going to even stick in your head unless you do them for actual clients and get real world experience. You can take all of the copywriting courses and read all of the books and still not do a great job for the client just because you have head knowledge. You need to start getting out there and completing real life work for clients in order to get good. You learn the basics now, and then the rest comes later, 1 hour at a time. The main goal of copy and content is to persuade the reader to take action, whether that's buying a product, signing up for a service, or clicking a link. It's all about guiding people to a specific outcome. How is it different from journalism, creative writing, academic writing, writing a novel, writing a nonfiction book? Journalism and other types of writing, well, journalism, storytelling, they're focused on informing, educating, entertaining. The purpose is to provide unbiased information, not necessarily to drive an action. Also, the audience focus is different. It is not reader-centric, it is customer-centric. And this is why writers focus so much on learning how to write, is because they take the stance of a nonfiction writer. So copy and content marketing is laser focused on a customer, not just any reader, right? We're not trying to make the New York Times bestseller list or create like a beautiful earth-shattering poem. Everything is written with the reader's needs, desires, and pain points in mind. And the language and tone are meant to resonate with potential buyers and convince them to take an action. Other types of writing could be telling stories, delivering facts, or just serving the general public or a broad audience. The content is more objective and doesn't focus directly on the reader's personal needs necessarily. Copywriting and content writing is usually concise and persuasive, whereas other types of writing could be more focused on being detailed and factual and getting all of the facts right. Copywriting is short and punchy, and it's designed to grab attention quickly. That's actually why a lot of good copywriters break proper grammar rules. It uses emotional triggers and persuasive language to connect with the reader in as short a period of time as possible. Content marketing can be longer. It still focuses on keeping the reader engaged and leading them toward a decision. Well, they maybe present both sides of a story without trying to sway the reader toward a specific outcome. The language is more formal or structured and has an emphasis on objectivity. Now, let's be totally honest. In the year 2024, journalism is 100% biased and leans a certain way. So take that for what it is. But I know these concepts might be a bit confusing, but again, we're trying to write towards buyers, not the general public. Copywriters focus on research and understanding the target audience. When we write copy, we're asking ourselves, who is this for? What does this person care about? What problem are they trying to solve? The goal is to connect emotionally to a very specific group of people. Whereas with other types of writing, a journalist, for example, is going to research topics that affect the general public or a broader audience. Their goal is to provide well-rounded, balanced information rather than tailoring it to a very specific group of people. Voice and tone. We want copywriting and content marketing to always be written in active voice, to be casual and conversational in tone. It can be friendly. It's designed to sound like it's coming from a real person who understands the reader's needs. The tone is approachable and just highly tailored to a specific target audience, whereas other forms of writing are formal or neutral. Other types of writing might try to present information in a clear manner without trying to be overly persuasive or emotional. The biggest difference between all of this is intent, right? So every word in copywriting is written with the intent of conversion, whether that is turning the reader into a customer or getting someone to engage with the content. It's just highly goal driven, whereas other types of writing might want to inform, educate, entertain, tell stories. Telling a story or delivering facts without having a direct, immediate action in mind. Now, good content does inform, entertain, and educate while guiding the reader toward the specific action. So you'll see with content writing specifically that they do take aspects of storytelling and journalism and education and infuse it into the copy. But again, the intent and the purpose is different. So this is a prime example. This is the NIH. This is a medical journal about the effects of blue light on acne. You can tell that this is structured like a medical article, right? Whereas if you go to a blogger's website and find out about how to transform your skin, you can see that there is a big difference. She's plugging her book. She has affiliate links in the article. She's constantly linking to stuff that she'll earn a commission on. There's also other calls to action on the sidebar. This is her affiliate site for Primally Pure. So what I would love for you to do is go to a blog and look at all of the ways that the blog is focused on selling. So for example, this is affiliate marketing. If you sign up for this software or you buy these website templates, she will get an affiliate on that. This is her email list training. This is her Pinterest training. This is her podcast training. Go to a client's website and try to decode what they're calling you to do. This links out to her podcast. What are all of the decisions they're trying to get you to make? Is it listening to a podcast? Is it signing up for a training? Is it opting into their email list? And identify the calls to action, right? So CTA's calls to actions could be get my free guide, check out the pod, watch now, save my seat for later, watch now. These are all different calls to action. Let's go to a blog post and go all the way to the bottom. Learn how your business can grow better with HubSpot. These are all different calls to actions for her sponsor. If this episode got you curious about email marketing, save your seat for my free class. This is the call to action. After you've read this entire blog post, she wants you to go here and learn how to build an email list. Understanding these differences is going to help you shift your mindset from simply writing to writing with purpose, specifically the purpose of selling or persuading. This is the key to becoming a successful copywriter or content writer. Okay, what projects will you be working on? What should you start offering as a freelance copywriter? My advice is to start with what is manageable. If you're new to copywriting and the idea of pitching clients feels intimidating, this is going to be really helpful for you because you'll realize you don't need to know how to do it all. Focus on offering a few simple deliverables that most businesses need. You'll be ready to get started without feeling overwhelmed. Blogs are the easiest and most common types of content writing for beginners. Even if you are only writing content at this stage, you can still call yourself a copywriter because you can earn more money as a copywriter. Blog posts help businesses improve their online presence and engage with their audience. You're going to be writing articles between 500 and 1500 words. You're going to research the topic. You can use AI to assist with that research, and you're going to write informative, clear posts that solve a problem or answer a question for the reader. It's great for beginners because it doesn't require any advanced sales techniques, and you can find plenty of examples online to model your work after. Businesses are always looking for a blog post. I still write blog posts to this day. Another one is product description. So if you've ever shopped online, you have read product description. These are short, persuasive pieces of copy. Again, a ton available out there to model your work after. You can create them yourself. They're usually 100 to 300 words, and they highlight features and benefits of the product. And that's where you really get to practice writing features and benefits. Social media posts, I feel like a lot of people have experience already doing this if you have posted yourself on social media. So basically, every company nowadays has social media marketing, and businesses need regular content for platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So writing social media copy is really about being concise and engaging. The hooks are really important. Driving interaction is really important. And you're going to write posts that grab attention, encourage likes, getting those comments and shares. The messages have to be really clear and fit within a character limit. These are shorter pieces of content, especially if you're on something like Twitter. And there's always going to be calls to actions like click the link, tag a friend, shop now. And this is great for beginners because it allows you to get creative with your messaging and help you practice writing within character limits. Email copy, I would say, is a bit more advanced But email marketing is something that every business needs because it's still the most effective way to get in touch with customers. So you could start by writing promotional email newsletters. That's a lower barrier to entry versus like a sales email. That's a direct response sales email. Promotional or newsletter is more about nurturing the relationship and having a softer call to action, which is like, click here to watch this free video, click here to read this blog post. You're going to focus on keeping the email short and engaging and using that clear, direct language. And it's great for beginner because once you get the hang of it, it's pretty easy and quick to write, and every business needs email copy. So there's a lot of demand for this skill. Now here's what I want you to do. Pick 3 copywriting deliverables from the list and choose the ones that sound most interesting to you. These deliverables are going to be what you offer when you start pitching clients. Start researching. Spend 10 minutes finding examples of types of copy that you're going to choose. For blog posts, look at articles and websites you like. For product descriptions, visit an online store and see how they're describing their products. And then I want you to write a sample. Choose one deliverable and write a sample for practice. If you're stuck, you can use AI to help you generate the idea or the outline, but make sure that you personalize it and write it in your own voice at the end of the day. This is actually going to help you build your portfolio. So let's get into the crash course part of this copywriting tutorial. So the first thing is to write for the reader and not for yourself or the business owner. It's tempting to write copy that sounds impressive or shows that you're creative, but your audience doesn't care about fancy words. They care about writing that speaks to their needs, their desires, and their problems. If you're writing for a meal delivery service, for example, don't talk about how great the company is and how the company was started and when it was started. Although there is a time and place for that, what you really want to be writing about in their marketing copy is how their service solves the reader's problem, which is saving time, eating healthier. To put this into practice, I want you to think about the target audience. What are their main pain points? Who are you going to be writing towards? Are they busy professionals? Are they parents who want more time? Or are they health conscious people? With that in mind, rewrite a product description or a service outline and make it more geared toward how it can solve the problem of the consumer. You also want to use simple, direct language. The best copy is easy to understand. You're going to avoid jargon, avoid complicated language, just use clear sentences and make them very easy to skim. Your goal is to get the point across as quickly as possible to keep the reader's attention.